You have filled my tea with lumps of sugar, and though I asked most distinctly for bread and butter, you have given me cake. I am known for the gentleness of my disposition and the extraordinary sweetness of my nature. But I warn you, Miss Cardew, you may go too far.
To save my poor innocent boy from the machinations of any other girl, there are no lengths which I would not go.
From the moment I saw you, I thought you were false and deceitful. I am never deceived in such matters. My first impressions of people are invariably right.
I must be trespassing on your valuable time, Miss Fairfax. It seems to me you have similar calls of the character to make in the neighborhood.
Ernest, my own Ernest. A moment. Are you engaged to this young lady?
To dear little Cecily? Of course not. What could have put such a silly idea into your pretty little head?
Thank you. You may.
I knew there must be some misunderstanding. The man whose arm is present at your waist is my dear guardian, Mr. John Worthing.
I beg your pardon?
This is Uncle Jack.
Jack? Oh,
here is Ernest.
My own love.
A moment. Are you engaged to be married to this young lady?
To what? Good heavens, Gwendolen!
Yes, to good heavens, Gwendolen! I mean to Gwendolen.
Of course not. I could have put such an idea in your pretty little head.
Thank you.
I thought there was some slight error, Miss Cardew. The man who is at present embracing you is my cousin, Mr. Algernon Moncrief.
Algernon Moncrief? Are you called Algernon?
Cannot deny it.
Is your name really John?
I could deny it if I liked. I could deny anything if I liked, but my name certainly is John. It's been John for years.
A gross deception has been practiced on both of us.
My poor wounded Cecily.
My sweet wronged Gwendolen.
You will call me sister, will you not?
Oh.
There is just one question I would like to be allowed to ask my guardian.
An admirable idea. Mr. Worthing, there's just one question I would like to put to you. Where is your brother Ernest? We are both engaged to be married to your brother Ernest, so it is of some importance to us to know where your brother Ernest is at present.
Essentially, Gwendolen, it pains me very much to speak the truth to you. Indeed, it is a very painful position, and it is the first time in my life that I've ever been reduced to such a position. I may tell you quite frankly that I have no brother Ernest. Indeed, I have no brother at all. I've never had a brother in all my life, and I have not the smallest intention of having one in the future.
No brother at all?
None.
Had you never a brother of any kind?
Not even of any kind.
I'm afraid it is quite clear that neither of us is engaged to be married to anyone.
It's a very painful position for a young girl to suddenly find herself in, isn't it?
Let us go into the house. They will hardly venture to come after us there.
No, men are so cowardly, aren't they?
This ghastly state of things is what you call bunburying, I suppose.
Yes, and the most wonderful Bunbury it is too. The most wonderful Bunbury I've ever had in all my life.
Well, you have no right whatsoever to Bunbury here.
That is absurd. One may Bunbury whatever one chooses. Any serious Bunburys knows it.
Serious Bunburys. Good heavens.
Well, one must be serious about some things in life if one wants to get any amusement out of it. I happen to be serious about Bunburying. What on earth you're serious about, I haven't the remotest idea. About everything, I should fancy, with an absolutely trivial nature.
The only small satisfaction I have in the whole of this wretched business is that your poor friend Bunbury is quite exploded. You ought to be able to run down to the country quite so often as you used to. And not a very bad thing, either.
Your brother's looking a little off colour, isn't he, dear Jack? You won't be able to disappear up to London quite so frequently as your wicked custom once was. And not a bad thing, either.
I want it to be. And as for your conduct toward Miss Cardew, I must say that you're taking in a sweet, simple, innocent girl like that is quite inexcusable, to say nothing of the fact that she is my ward.
Well, I can see no possible defence at all in you deceiving a brilliant, clever, thoroughly experienced young woman like Miss Fairfax. To say nothing of the fact that she is my cousin.
I wanted to be engaged to Gwendolen, that's all. I love her.
I simply want to be engaged to Cecily. I adore her.
There's certainly no chance of your marrying Miss Cardew now.
I do not think there is very much likelihood, Jack, in you and Miss Fairfax ever being united.
Well, that's no business of yours.
If it was my business, I wouldn't talk about it. It is very vulgar to talk about one's business. Only people like stockbrokers do that, and that's merely at dinner parties.
How you can sit there calmly eating muffins when we are in this horrible trouble I can't make out. You seem to me to be perfectly heartless.
Well, I can't eat muffins in an agitated manner. The butter will probably get all over my cups. One must always eat muffins quite calmly. It is the only way to eat them.
I say it's perfectly heartless you're eating muffins at all under the circumstances.
When I'm in trouble, eating is the only thing that consoles me. Indeed, when I'm in really great trouble, as anyone who intimately knows me will tell you, I refuse everything but food and drink. And at present, I am eating because I am unhappy. And besides, I'm particularly fond of muffins.
That is no reason why you should eat them all in that greedy way.
Why don't you have the tea cake instead? I don't like tea cake.
Good heavens, I suppose a man may eat his own muffins in his own garden.
Yes, but you just said it was perfectly heartless to eat muffins.
I said it was perfectly heartless for you under the circumstances. That is a very different thing.
Yes, but the muffins are the same.
I wish to goodness you would go, Algy.
You can't possibly ask me to go without having any dinner. I never go anywhere without having my dinner. No one ever does. Except for vegetarians and people like that. And besides, I've just made arrangements at 6 o'clock to be christened under the name of Earnest, with Dr. Charleston.
My dear fellow, the sooner you give up that nonsense, the better. I made arrangements myself this morning with Dr. Charleston to be christened at 5:30. I will naturally take the name of Earnest. Gwendolyn will wish it. We can't both be christened Earnest, it's absurd. Besides, I have a perfect right to be christened if I like. There's no evidence at all of my ever having been christened by anybody. I should think it extremely probable I never was. So does Dr. Charleston. Besides, you've already been christened.
Yes, but I've not been christened for years.
Yes, but you have been christened. That's the important thing.
Quite so. So I know my constitution can stand. Now really, if you're not quite sure about your ever having been christened, I think it rather dangerous for you venturing on it now. It might make you very unwell. You can hardly have forgotten that someone very closely connected to you was very nearly carried off this week in Paris by a severe chill.
Yes, but you said yourself that a severe chill was not hereditary.
Well, it used to be, I know, but I dare say it is now. Science is always making wonderful improvements on things.
You're always talking nonsense, Algy. You never talk anything but nonsense.
Well, there are only 2 muffins left.
Algy, I wish to goodness you would go. I've already told you I don't want you here. Why won't you go?
Because I haven't finished my tea yet. And there's still 1 muffin left.